Hey guys, so in this video I just wanted to talk about how I've been surviving while not making money while being on pregnancy leave. So for starters, in order to qualify for FMLA to get paid by your job while you're on leave, you have to work a certain amount of hours, and I believe that's like close to like 1,200. It's like over 1,000. So I didn't qualify for FMLA because I had been at my job for I think like over a year, like less than 2 years, something like that. But I don't think the amount of years I had been there mattered. I think it just matters how many hours you accumulated, and I didn't meet that threshold. So, I didn't qualify for FMLA because I was a part-time worker and I didn't work that many hours, like the 1,200 threshold. But the other option was applying for leave through the state, and in the state of Washington the threshold is 820 hours, and I didn't know if I qualified or not, so I just went ahead and applied anyway, because like you're entitled to pregnancy leave. But the thing is, it's like, are you entitled to get paid while you're on leave? Not unless you meet the threshold. So I ended up applying. It took like, I think like a month for them to get back to me, so I made sure I did it in advance. But to make a long story short, I didn't end up qualifying for that. The threshold was 820 hours, and I believe I worked 790. So I was like, what, 30 hours off of the threshold. So my advice, if you want to qualify for leave, is try to be strategic. Like if you work a job like in advance, make sure you call to see how you can qualify for FMLA, and call and see how you can qualify for like the state leave if you don't qualify for FMLA, or if you don't think you're going to qualify for it. Me personally, if I could do it differently, I probably would have called to check the requirements and stuff and see what I could do, and then meet those requirements before I went on my leave. But luckily I've still been surviving by the grace of God while I've been on leave, and I'll get to that in a minute. But yeah, just make sure you're strategic and you call to see what the requirements are for your job and for your state, to make sure that when it is time for you to go on leave, you're not scrambling and being worried and stuff like that. It just so happened that in my state, those are the requirements and stuff, and I barely met the threshold. But thankfully, while I've been on leave, I've had money coming to me. First and foremost, before Junior was born in January, he was born on January 22nd. Me and his dad moved out of our apartment on January 13th, I believe. And we were behind on rent, so I reached out to the Salvation Army and the food bank to get help with the rent, and we ended up getting an overpayment. So they paid our rent, and then we had extra money on top of that they had issued to us. So we were able to have that extra money, thank God. And also with tax season, so I make sure that I file my taxes pretty early so that I can get them early. So I'm pretty blessed and fortunate that I had these resources so that I wouldn't be on leave and not have any money. That's another thing. If you need help with like rent, there's resources out there. I'm in the state of Washington. I called the Salvation Army, which they're pretty known, and I've known other people that got help by them. I called the West Seattle Food Bank, but I think I called St. Vincent de Paul first, and then they gave me like a bunch of different numbers to call to get help with resources if this place or that place can't help you. So just know where you're at, there's resources. I just happen to be in the state of Washington, so it might be different. But yeah, if you're struggling with rent, you're behind on rent, there are, people that can help you. Another thing that has really helped me is WIC, but I just got on that and I haven't used the benefits yet. But if you're struggling with like food or something like that, WIC gives you like, you have to apply and stuff and call the WIC office. I had looked it up online, and it looks like for the majority of states in the US, there's like WIC offices. So with WIC, they give you food like dairy stuff like milk. They'll give you like Similac for your child, cereal, fruit, like all that stuff. You'll get that for free pretty much. So there's that, and also applying for food stamps. So because I'm on leave right now, I got food stamps before, but I didn't get as many before as I do now, because right now my son and his father are on my food stamps, whereas before it was just me, so they were just going off of my income. But I still was able to get like $290. But now with my son and his father being on my benefits, there's like, we get like almost $800. So we gonna be eating good. But that's another thing that you should apply for, food stamps, because while you're on leave, if you're not getting paid by FMLA, which is through your job, I believe, and then through the state, if you're not getting paid by either one, like, you're considered unemployed. So when you're unemployed, you get more benefits. Yeah, the food stamps have really come in handy. You just have to call the DSHS office, Department of Social and Health Services. I think that's what it's called, but I know it's or I think that's what it stands for, but it is DSHS. But you just call them, and what I do is I call them like right when they open, 8 a.m. Like, I'll have my phone on standby at 7:59. I'll type the number in and I'll click call like right at 8, because if you call after 8 or like later in the day, you will be on hold for hours possibly. I remember I called later in the day and I was on hold for hours because like I think I had a deadline, and I was like, I have to stay on the phone. It's Friday, like I have to talk to them today. And I was on the phone for like on hold for like 2 hours, but I wasn't like actively on hold. I was like doing stuff, and I had the AirPods in, you know. So yeah, if you weren't approved for FMLA or the state leave, well, at least to get paid while on leave, you should definitely qualify for food stamps. So that's another thing that you should take advantage of, food stamps and WIC for sure. And like I said, I'm in the state of Washington, so things might be different. You may have more or less resources in your state, but I know for sure there are resources, so definitely take advantage of that, because like the food stamps have definitely been coming in handy, because like prior to having food stamps, I would pay for food with like my credit card or money. So it's definitely convenient to have the food stamps, so you don't have to, you know, pay for the food, especially if you're not getting paid while on leave. But I'm talking about before being on pregnancy leave, like I was still paying for, you know, like my food and stuff, but it still comes in handy no matter like what your situation is, you know? So yeah, just know, just because you're not approved to get paid while you're on leave, that doesn't mean that like there aren't resources out there for you. And who knows, maybe you worked enough hours to get paid by the state. I just didn't happen to, because I just don't like working, and not because I'm lazy, but because when I spend too much time at a job, I just feel like I'm wasting my life. So I try to be there as least as possible, or is it as less as possible, whatever, you guys know what I mean. But yeah, so when I was at my job, which I think I had been there for less, hi little guy, you back there talking? Hi. So when I was at my job, like less than 2 years, I would only work like less than 20 hours a week. And my shifts were only like 4 hours. I'm surprised I was even close to the 820 hour threshold to get, you know, paid from the state while being on leave. But yeah, I am not the job type of person. I'm trying to get rich. Like, I'm not trying to do the whole 9-to-5 job stuff and, you know, being a slave and whatnot, but I will do it for the time being while I'm making other things happen, if that makes sense. So yeah, that's my job, is just like my side hustle pretty much. But in the meantime, I've been utilizing my resources, you know, and bless you, little guy. Hi. Yeah, so I've been utilizing my resources, and it's been working out well. And I hope that those of you that haven't been approved to get paid while you're on leave because you didn't meet the maximum amount of hours that you have to work, I hope that you guys utilize your resources as well. And I hope that this video was useful and you guys found value. Please feel free to like, comment, or subscribe, or all of the above. And thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.